welcome to today's episode of The Daily Blend. I'm your host, AC, and we are joined in studio today by Dean and Amber Klempke, real estate advisors at Iron Gates. How are you guys?
We're doing great.
Doing well.
Good to see you both.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's great
Glad
to see
be
you.
here.
Always good to have you guys on the couch. So it's fall.
It is.
It's fall, and the real estate market is doing what it does.
Absolutely.
And what exactly is that right now?
Well, we're finding that buyers have a bit more of an advantage right now. Houses are sitting a little longer on the market, and then prices are, people are doing some price reductions, having to do more open houses. It's not as easy to sell your house as it was a couple years ago. And so we're kind of in that transition period right now. So the market was a little bit slow in September, but now October, we're picking back up again a little bit before the holidays.
Yeah. And we were talking a little bit off camera. You were saying that this is now the time a little bit away from people who had to move.
Because in the spring, people want to buy a new house and things like that before the new school year starts. They want to get settled and things like that. Nowadays, people, if you want to move now before it gets cold and things like that, now's the time.
Yeah. So now's the time in the fall before it gets like winter where
Yes.
it's
Because
really
nobody
cold.
wants to move when it's snowing outside.
No, nobody wants to move when it's snowing outside. I think
That's
I've done
why
it
you hire a
once.
moving company.
Yeah.
It's the worst. Done it once in January. It is the worst.
Ugh,
It
yeah.
is the worst.
It's
It's
rough.
amazing to me how markets swing from buyer's market, seller's market. Because just a while ago,
There weren't enough houses on the market.
Yeah.
Like, they were just going like crazy. And in certain price points, that's still kind of the same. People are fighting for houses $200,000 and less. Like, you can't keep those on the market. So
in that $200-ish thousand range, those are flying.
Yeah, those seem to go pretty quickly as long as the house is in pretty good shape. And that's something else too, is buyers are able to be a little bit more picky right now. Because, back when the market was really crazy, people were just like buying because they, had to get into a house or whatever. But now people are able to be a little bit pickier. So, if the house isn't quite up to what they want, they're not buying. Or else we're seeing a lot of contracts fall through also because people get under contract, do some inspections, and then find, I don't want to have to fix that later. So then they're getting out of contract, it's a more normal type of market, I think, than what we've seen in the last few years. And that's okay. We're here for it so people can actually afford to buy houses.
well, and we're having more conversations with sellers about prepping their house before they put it on the market. It used to be, a few years ago that you could kind of sell it as it was and just be like, well, I'm not doing anything. Like, this is what we're doing. And now we're like, well, if you want to get that top dollar, you are going to have to, really put some forethought and some planning into that.
So it used to be a little bit more, kind of, it is what it is. Because people want to move, they need to move, and there's not a lot out there.
Right.
But when the market starts to change a little bit, then as a seller, you probably got to be a little bit more intentional.
Yes.
Making sure you've got things done. Okay.
Right.
And that's a conversation, too, that we're having to have with sellers is that, a few years ago, your house would have sold for this price that you think it should sell for. Now, that's not what we're seeing. And so, like we were talking off camera a little bit ago about, some listings that we've had that adjustment, sellers are taking a little bit of time to catch up. And I get that because, my friend sold his house, back in 2022 for, $50,000 over asking price. Why can't I have that? Well, the market tells you what you can and can't have as far as prices go. So we're seeing a lot of that and having to set some different type of expectations. And that's kind of tough to hear.
So there's a little bit of, that's where you guys come in as advisors, right? There's a little bit of education that really has to be done then as these markets change. A lot of education on even on the seller's end.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because when that market changed, and I do have that in my head that, 16 months ago, I know somebody right next door who sold their house for, and they got top dollar and more, and there was a bidding war on their house. And now I'm thinking I'm going to do the same thing. And you're like, oh, just a minute.
Maybe not.
Time to change.
Especially not in those upper price points. Like,
Yeah,
once you get above 300, 350,000, something like that, like, you're going to really have to prepare and and make it worthwhile for buyers to buy your house.
Okay, so what are just a few off the top of your head, just a few things that people should, in those upper price ranges, that people should just make sure that they have done? Just a couple things that you know for certain that people are going to be looking at. A roof is probably one, right?
Roof, foundation. Like, we're seeing a lot of foundations that have been kind of neglected, and so we're having a lot of negotiations with that kind of a thing. So just make sure those basic things, like your roof, your foundation, your heating and cooling system, like that's a big one too. If it's working, great, but maybe think about home warranties. Just kind of, there's a lot of incentives that sellers can do to kind of help get those buyers in there. And then something too is just cleanliness. I mean, that sounds kind of basic, but just making sure your house is really clean so that when people are coming in, they're not like distracted by the stuff you have sitting around. They're like, oh, I can see your beautiful home, instead of, why do you have 5 books and all your bills on the table when I'm looking at your house? So,
well, and there's power to having an inspector come in and just do a walkthrough of your house. Like, some inspectors will do that for like $200. They'll walk through your house and they'll point out problems without generating a report or anything. They'll point out things that, you need to fix.
That is very smart.
Absolutely, because then you don't want to get to inspection time and have your buyers generate that report and be pointing out everything that's wrong with it.
That is very smart. And so, listen, preventative.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely.
Like, so let's be proactive.
Yes.
And not reactive. So if you're you're going to be listing your house, that's smart. Okay, so that's why you should reach out to Dean and Amber, and they can walk you through all these things. They're your real estate advisors. They're here to help. You guys, always good to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will catch you next time.
It's always great to be here.
Thank you. We're happy to be here.
This is your Be Well moment by Burrow Behavioral Health. Taking time to identify what we're feeling can help us know how to care for our brains. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, notice any feelings you have in this moment. Try giving them a label, such as excitement or frustration. Can you let these feelings be there without judgment? Notice how comfortable or uncomfortable this feeling is for you. Then ask yourself, what is one small step I can take to care for me today?